So to get us started, most of you probably know our chapter executive directors were here with us at the beginning of the week, or up there with us in Falls Church at the beginning of the week, along with all of our CAI staff. And if you couldn't tell from the LinkedIn and Facebook posts, we had an awesome time. We are starting to get some of the feedback from the couple days, and the CEDs have said it was just a great time of renewal and refreshing, and they're really excited about what's ahead for all of us. So they got to spend some time with Dawn to kick it off, to hear what the kind of vision for this next year and some of the goals that we're working on. And we'll be sharing that with them in our wrap up so that they could share it with their boards as well. And then we spent some time doing a scavenger hunt to build relationships. You probably saw that at the Capitol. And then we spent some time talking about best practices. So I would definitely encourage you to check in with your chapter executive directors who went and see how their experience was. And if they weren't able to go this year, help us to encourage them to go next year. We already have the dates set and we've shared those with them, and we would love to have them back in Virginia next year. All right. Well, I'd like to kick off our discussion today. And Dawn is actually coming in as well. We would like to talk about finishing the year strong. And I know a lot of us have shared some of our successes, and I shared kind of some prompts to get us talking about this subject. But I'd like to encourage us to think about what wins or successes can we highlight to keep our board and members motivated from now until the end of the year? And maybe how do you celebrate accomplishments to keep the energy high? And I'd love to open it up to some of you for input or thoughts that you're having. Are you feeling energized and excited for the end of the year? Awesome. What are some things that are making you energized?
We have a new executive director.
You do. Awesome, Joyce. That's very exciting.
He's sitting right here.
Awesome. Hi, Mike.
He wants to make sure I'm on the call. Watching me already.
I love it. I love it. Anyone else? Is there anything that you're excited about between now and the end of the year?
Down here in Atlanta/Georgia, like we do our big CARES Day give back at the end of October, and then like some big drives and donations for Toys for Tots. If you didn't know, Atlanta is the largest Toys for Tots in America, so good for our Marines going there. And then of course we have our December awards luncheon. So we got some, and then technically, if I think about October, we have the big golf tournament. So Q4 is actually one of our biggest, most active quarters of the year.
That's awesome. And how do you keep people motivated during the busy season, your committees and your members? Is there anything your chapter is doing?
I think people just like looking to the big events that they've worked to plan all year long. Because I mean, if anything, summer's kind of like our lull with, the managers are so busy and swamped with pool season and that insanity, plus family vacations and kids out of school, that it's kind of like fourth quarter's we're all back into the routines. So coming back together.
Awesome. That's great, Eric. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else want to share?
We're celebrating our 50th anniversary, and we have a big gala in December, so we're very excited about it. It's been a good year.
That's great. I know you've been celebrating all year. I was just looking at my 50th anniversary pin from you just yesterday. That's right. That's exciting. Go ahead, Krista.
Yeah, Emily, thank you. And I know my president-elect is on this call as well, Candace. So kind of along the same lines as Eric spoke of, I think there is some downtime in the summer. Q3, Q4, we really look to finish the year strong. We have a lot of events going on, including our third annual Education Palooza, which is a wonderful time to bring together anywhere from 200 to 300 managers within our chapter for a day of education, and followed by a networking, of course, happy hour. And then we, of course, have our annual award celebration coming up on November 7th this year. And that's going to be followed shortly thereafter by, we do traditionally a holiday happy hour like that first week of December, but this year we are going to take about an hour before that event to do a sponsor soiree, if you will, where we are giving thanks to our current sponsors and business partners, but we're also going to roll out our 2026 business partner program. And that's something we've never done before. And we are really, really excited about that initiative. We've had the business partner program. We haven't done a formal rollout of it, if you will, nor have we really taken the time to have a standalone session to give thanks back to our current sponsors. So that should hopefully create a lot of energy for our business partners and sponsors that we have now to sign up again and continue their commitment to the chapter in 2026.
I love that, Krista. You called it a soiree, a sponsorship soiree.
Yeah, that's what I'm calling it. Yes.
That's what you're calling it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So not only gets them excited about what happened this year, but what's to come as well.
Exactly. It's also helpful that, as Candace will say, throughout this entire year, we have been 100% committed to setting up our plan for 2026. Really excited about the fact we've taken a proactive instead of a reactive approach to our planning process for this year. And a lot of that has been due to the involvement, of course, of our new executive director who celebrates her 1-year anniversary in November.
That's great. Awesome. And she was at CED retreat having an awesome time. It was great to have her there.
Excellent.
Anyone else want to share what you're excited about between now and in the end of the year, and how you're keeping your committees and your board motivated? Or maybe any challenges that you're having that you'd like to bring up to the group?
It's Roxanne. I'll share from Kentucky. And next week, we're doing our strategic plan retreat where we will meet all day long as the board and plan 2026. And then the following week, we have our business showcase. So that's a big follow up. And then in October, we'll do a board leader training. And then in December, we will have our luncheon. Our October speaker for our October luncheon, though, is Crystal from CAI. So we're real excited. That's the first time for someone to come from CAI and speak at our luncheon. So we're excited just so that people catch the vision of a national program, just not in the state of Kentucky.
That's great, Roxanne. I've seen a lot of momentum behind your showcase. I know you have legislators coming, so that's really exciting. Congratulations on that.
Yes, we're excited, but our downer is it was our 1-year anniversary of our CED, and she let us know she's taken another job, and she was absolutely amazing. So we are very sad.
Yes, we are too. We do love her, and I know she'll be missed by you guys as well. And whatever support you need to move forward with that, we're here to help you with that.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Anyone else want to share?
Can I jump in and share because I have to jump to another call?
Yes, Dawn. Thank you. Go ahead.
Awesome. Well, I just wanted to pop into this meeting and say hello to all of you, really the engine of this organization, our chapters, representing and leading our chapters. I want to thank you for your volunteer commitment. I know some of you, especially those that are going through or have gone through a staff transition under your leadership, it's not easy. And we are here to support, but it doesn't matter. It's still not easy. And so I just want you to know that you are so valued, so appreciated. And I hope that you know what support you have from our team and our office. We are here to do what we can to support your efforts so that you as subject matter experts, as leaders in your region, in your area, can do just that you can provide the expertise and the leadership in your area and hopefully leave the rest to us and to your staff team. We're trying to do our best to support that. So I hope that we have been, and I know that we are doing our best, but if you need something different from us, please let us know. As I continue this journey and this work with all of you, know that top of mind is technology and supporting our chapters with technology as we move forward to improve our technology. Having the chapters involved in that process and be able to access what we have and do is top of mind for us. We are also looking at modernizing everything we do, from our courses to our publications to our communications, and making sure that we are meeting our members where they are and when they need us. So you'll see some new courses coming out. You'll see some new courses for homeowner leaders, for board members, for managers, management companies, and also for staff of business partners and management companies, just to become more familiar with the community association housing model, as many of your companies are onboarding people into this industry. As well as just modernizing, again, what we put out there to our members and making sure that it is what people are looking for. It's the content, the standards, the practices that define the standards and the standards for our industry. So thank you for your leadership. Thank you. I know many of you spend countless hours leading your chapters, and you have for many years. You wouldn't be in this role if you haven't already committed years and years of service. Thank you. Our members, thank you. And I want us to just continue working together, being aligned as a big organization with all of our chapters, so that we're all rowing towards the same vision and we are all working towards the same goals. So thanks for everything that you're doing, and thanks for being here. Congratulations, Michael. Good to see you. I saw you put your face in the screen. Michael Shaw from the Keystone chapter. I'll be here for another few minutes. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer any questions y'all may have. But you don't have to have any questions, but I will be here and I'll just keep listening to the conversation.
Thank you, Dawn. Does anyone have any questions for Dawn or any comments?
Well, Keystone
Dawn.
Chapters thanks her for her leadership.
Thank you.
Dawn, I was telling them earlier about the amazing experience we had at the beginning of the week with their chapter executive directors and the staff. And really the feedback that we've been getting from CEDs is that they're feeling energized and really excited about the future.
I had chills throughout the week when the chapter executive directors were here. All of us were so energized, and I feel like we all fed off of this positive energy from each other. So thank you for supporting your chapter executive directors, those of you who were able to support them to be with us. It was really meaningful and powerful, and I think will continue to shape our organization, on the success and the visibility of our organization. So yeah, it was phenomenal.
I agree. All right. Does anyone have any questions for Dawn while she is here with us? All right. Well, thank you for being here, Dawn. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Go ahead, Mike.
Have a great weekend, you guys.
Were you gonna? Oh, you guys are saying bye.
Oh,
Mike,
no,
were you gonna ask a question?
no, it was just a wave goodbye.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I was like, Mike has a question. All right. So, going back, is there anything else that you guys want to add to the discussion on finishing the year strong, or anything that you might be struggling with or would like advice from the group on between now and the end of the year? I'd like to ask just the last question on that topic is, what conversations can help set your 2026 leaders up for success? What conversations are you having currently or going to have to make sure your president-elect, if you're a president, and your your leaders are set up for success this next year. Someone mentioned you're having your strategic planning session, which is awesome. So you're going to be talking about the future there. Anyone else want to share some of those conversations you're having?
Emily, I'll just jump in again. You know, we've been meeting, I see Candace down there smiling. I mean, we've been having strategic planning meetings on a quarterly basis throughout the year. So while we may not be having a one-day retreat, we've been doing that already throughout the year. And we already have the 2026 goals are already established. Those are going to be communicated to the membership at large at of course, the annual dinner. Also in a big spread in our December issue of Quorum that goes out to our membership. But that message is also being articulated through the quarterly council and committee chair meetings that our vice president is charged with running throughout the year. They've got their final meeting of the year coming up next Wednesday, actually. And one of the, you know, I think many chapters may struggle with this, right? The lines of communication from the board down to the committees and back up to the board. One of the initiatives we've had this year that both our vice president has led with the council and committee chairs is recreating and in fact drafting new, if they did not already exist, committee charters. I think we've definitely had some room for improvement over the past several years in keeping the lines of communication open with our committees and keeping everybody on the same page. And the creation and adoption of those committee charters are going to be key to enhancing that process moving forward. I think it's fair to say that is one of our biggest challenges as a chapter. We have 10 committees, a couple of standing committees and task force, if you will, and keeping them all on the same page is not always the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does anyone have any tips of how you're going to tackle that going into 2026 or a plan that you have to kind of keep those committees engaged? And really, it's important to keep them communicating with each other somehow because so many of them overlap. I heard one of our chapter executive directors mention that they are having quarterly meetings with their committee chairs, so at least they can collaborate together and kind of talk about what's going on. Does anyone have any plans for that in the coming year?
We had one, but quarterly sounds good, so I'll mention that to Scott because we had one and it went fantastic. They loved it.
Yeah, or maybe even twice a year. You know, I know the committees are meeting a lot, but maybe even twice a year for that. Joyce, I believe you recently for Keystone chapter, didn't you have a session not long ago sharing the goals and objectives for next year, or you're going to with your committees or committee chairs?
We're going to. Yeah, we bring them in twice a year, but actually Mike and I are already starting a lot of plans and changing that up where we want to bring them in. We like the quarterly idea of bringing them in or having at least a Zoom meeting because we want to give them more tools, more resources, you know, to really be the committee chair and take that leadership role. We find some of our committees are not as good at doing that as others, and we really want to get them all up to speed and do better all the way around because it's only going to improve the chapter and the communication between the committees and between, you know, to the membership. So we do that twice a year, and we'll be bringing them in and telling them about our goals. We've mentioned them in our individual meetings, but we want to have them in as a group. We're just not sure where because our building has had a flooding problem, so we're having to look for other locations.
Oh no.
Yeah, that auditorium room is not available, and we don't know if it'll be at all this year.
Oh wow.
So we're scrambling for other places, which we'll find. Yeah, there's plenty of opportunities to find other places, but it's been interesting.
Yeah.
That was Mike's first day, and he wasn't even officially appointed yet, but that was his first day. He called and told me, we're not going to be here. We're going to be going remote because the building has been shut down. And I said, okay.
Oh my goodness.
executive director.
Exactly. Wow, nothing like jumping right in with
Yep.
a problem to fix or
Exactly.
yeah, or an opportunity. Yeah. Awesome.
Right.
Anyone else on that same vein of talking about committees and kind of getting them energized with what you're doing next year? Any struggles you're having or successes? All right. What else did you bring today that you'd like to talk about? Is there anything on your mind today?
I can add just one thing to the original conversation we started with. I'm
Yeah.
excited as a president because I'm only here a year. I'm very mouthy. I call it the Janet show when I talk at the breakfast every month. But I don't like to get up and speak in front of people. I find it's more of a fake it till you make it kind of thing. I don't enjoy it at all. But I'm so looking forward to the end of the year breakfast. We take time every month to appreciate one of our committees. So we'll have them come up, we do a group photo, we tell what they do, and we say thank you. And we do that at every month. But I'm looking forward to having the opportunity to go out stating all the great things that they did throughout the year. I'm excited about it. I think that'll come through. But as a president, and you only get, your year to do stuff, I'm not excited about what I did or didn't do. I'm just excited to stand up there and run through that list and I guess in a way do my personal thank you, for the great year that I had because of them. So it has nothing to do with it doesn't I don't have any plans to make it better with the chapter, so I didn't join the conversation. But just on a personal note, I'm really excited because we have wonderful committees and they do great work, and I'm happy to be able to be that person this year.
That's awesome, Janet. That's true leadership there, recognizing your committees and thanking them for everything that they've done to make your job easier as president throughout the year. So that's awesome. I'm glad you're doing that. I love that you recognize a committee at each of the breakfasts too. We at the CD retreat, we talked about how can you make sure your committees feel appreciated.
Yeah, they're not all always there for the photo, obviously, but Scott does let them know in advance which committee we're doing in case they wish to be there. And then I read a little blurb about what it is they do on that particular committee, and then we call them out by name and just up to the front so everybody can see them, and we take a photo for the magazine.
That's great. Love that. What else? What else is on your mind? Well, go ahead. Go ahead, Krista.
I'm going to ask a question if we can talk about committees and committee structure just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because despite all the structure that you have in place, something is going to go off the rails. And if you're running anywhere from 10 to 12 committees at a given time, they're all they're all meeting monthly. Probably not a reasonable expectation that your chapter executive director is going to be able to jump in on every one of those meetings, right? So you have some staff members maybe assigned to attend those committee meetings. But what for other presidents on the call, like what has been effective for you and your chapter as far as the level of involvement that your executive director has with your committees and trying to keep abreast of all the moving parts of each of those committees, if you will?
Oh, that's a great question. Krista, does anyone have any thoughts or input on that?
Or
Yeah, go
like
ahead,
even
Sally.
just, yeah.
And Sally and then Janet.
Okay, well, I will say that, up here in the North Florida Gulf Coast, we have a new chapter executive director. So she is really involved and she tries to attend every single committee meeting that we host. And unfortunately, at our board meetings, our monthly board meetings, we don't always have the committee chairs in attendance. So it's been very helpful that she has been on all these meetings because she can fill the board in as to what transpired at those committee meetings, which has been helpful. But I do fear that this may bring a burnout in her because a lot of her time is spent on these Zoom calls and then following up on it as well. So I'm concerned about that, but I don't know what options there are to help alleviate some of that strain from her plate.
Yeah. Has anyone come up with a solution for that, or have you found balance? Janet, you were going to say something.
You know, I'm going to say the same thing. Like, oh, our CED is wonderful, but he does attend every committee meeting, with the exception of a few that have a chair that is very involved, also a board member, that he trusts, but he attends everyone, and because of that, he ends up with tasks. So, what I would like to see is them start using, and this is my suggestion, but it's not in play. I would like to see them, since they use the Zoom, start using that AI feature and letting him get that AI, report afterwards to just review what went on during the meeting, where he could make suggestions after the fact, rather than sitting through the whole thing and then taking on tasks. And I'll give a prime example. Emily, you said, is there anything else you all would like to discuss? And it was crickets for a minute. And so, we've all been in that situation, and it happens at the committees. Who's going to take on this task? Crickets. And Scott, our CED, feels the need to say, I can, and so I would like to see him not attend the meeting, but listen to or read the meeting after the fact, even if it's watching the video recording, and then making suggestions from that, and taking any notes that he needs from that.
I think that's a great
Janet,
suggestion. Jeez. Go ahead, Crystal.
Yeah, I love the suggestion of using the AI tools just, for the purpose of that committee or the executive director. And I also like the idea of listening to the recording because, they have features where you can listen to it faster, so you can, don't get stuck in those ums and ahs as much. So that's a great idea. I will tell you from my experience, I would have the same concerns about staff attending all of the meetings and burnout. At the same time, it's also a struggle because you want them to, you don't want committees like assigning them something and they don't realize it, or kind of going in a different direction. So I would say the balance that I've seen, if you don't have staff to be in all of those meetings, would be to prioritize, and that prioritize might be different from month to month based on what's going on. So, in the beginning of the year or late in the year when you're planning your education for the following year, you might want them in those first couple of meetings consistently because that's super important. But once they're all planned and they're kind of just talking a little more tactical, maybe you don't need them there as much, and maybe they need to focus on being at the golf because golf is coming up or whatever it may be. So that would be my suggestion, is kind of really think about it and then use tools that Janet mentioned to capture that information. That's one really great thing about doing these meetings via Zoom, is we can utilize those tools.
I've been
And I would say,
sorry.
go ahead, Candace. Go ahead.
This is probably the longest I've been quiet on any meeting. And Krista knows it. But a couple of things. The one thing we are definitely trying to accomplish at our upcoming board meeting with those charters redone is to consolidate some of the committees and make them some of the committees working groups. Because which some of them were before consolidated, and at some point, and we can't figure out why, or years past, they got separated. So we're trying to put them back to a working group, because the ED doesn't attend working group meetings unless there's something specific that she can contribute or needs to contribute. So that's one thing we're going to try to do. and we hope it's successful. But the other thing is, and that I've been asking for years, but RED is new and it's on my list of 15 pages of wish list items that I haven't given to anybody, is getting an established list of tasks that volunteers can do for the committees that does not require staff input or staff to handhold, because every single year we have about the same events, pretty much, and we put out a call for volunteers for specific tasks, and some of them are tasks that are leading up to the event. And so just getting a regular established list of items that can be done. And because, committee people, they change, they come in and out, chairs change. And so having just a structure of, these are the things that we definitely can help chapter staff with and preparing for and taking something off their plate. Now, granted, yes, I know there's going to be certain things that only staff can do. Totally get that. But there's a lot of things sometimes these committees ask for that requires the legwork, which they could do their own self and then go and then provide the information they found to the committee and to the chapter staff. So I think there's a little bit of wiggle room, and also I know there's some committee members that just attend and think that the staff are their secretaries, and that is not the case. And they do nothing. They have all these great suggestions and plans and ideas, and then they don't contribute at all to help with the ideas and the plans. They put it into the universe thinking someone else will pick the ball up and take and run with it. And so just putting it back on the people who make the suggestions, like, okay, great, you're going to be the lead on that, right? No? Okay, I guess we're not doing that then. Krista's been really good at starting that. I'm going to be continuing that. And it's just something that's very helpful. So I'm glad that she's my president now, so I can learn her ways and just continue that on. And I'll say that as last thing I'll say right now is that has been a great benefit. Working with Krista together on so many things. We put together a administrative planning calendar, lack of better words, a chapter operational calendar, because again, our RED is new, so she's coming up on her 1-year anniversary. She has no clue what things have happened, but we know that. So we created a calendar that we're going to want ongoing, because even with our past ED, people just had no idea when things were going to happen. Like when is registration going to open for a certain thing? When's the call for candidates going to go out? We make all these assumptions that we know when it should happen, but is it actually down and going to be a thing? So we crafted that, and I think if your chapter doesn't have that already, definitely do that. We're including it in our board packages so that the rest of the board is aware as well, and it can minimize some questions about when things are going to happen. So that's been very helpful for us. Thanks.
That's great. Candace, would you mind sharing that with us? You can share it with Alicia. We'll drop her email address in the chat. We just love to see kind of how you structured that. So maybe we could build a tool for chapters. I love that. That's great. Crystal, you were going to add something.
Yeah, while Candace was talking, it made me think of a discussion actually the executive directors had this week about working with committees. And the group that I was talking with had created a lot of templates that helped kind of keep the committees on track, but also was used as a reporting tool. So like a standard minutes template, a standard agenda template with, and I'm thinking as Candace was talking is maybe in part of it, it's like, who's responsible? Is this a staff function or a volunteer function, type thing. So I think you can adapt something like that for your chapter to help kind of guide it and keep them on track, as well as give the executive director some clarity and tools as well.
That's great, Crystal. When Krista, you asked that, I was a chapter executive director at one time. Thankfully, we did not have 12 committees. Otherwise, that would be difficult to attend all. But I always really liked attending them. I was afraid that I was going to miss something. Of course, I have FOMO, and my team knows that. So So I would be really afraid. But with that said, if you are thinking about maybe suggesting that they don't need to attend all of them, or, you know, kind of coming up with a plan, make that a partnership discussion. And I know you will, between you and the executive director. You know, I'm sure they have some thoughts and they may have some ideas on it as well about how they can cover it, or if they feel comfortable. You know, there's might be some committees that they would not feel comfortable missing the meeting, or something like that. So if any of you are looking at that, just make that a real partnership discussion between you and the chapter executive director about the best path forward. Anything else anyone has to add to that committee discussion? One thing that I wanted to bring up is I know that you are all gearing up, a lot of you, for awards, and you're having your galas or your end of year celebrations or whatever you might do. And I would love to hear some of the exciting awards that you're going to be offering at the end of the year. And if you're willing, if you would share again with Alicia, maybe some of those descriptions of your awards, that would be awesome. But does anyone have anything they're excited about, awards wise, at the end of the year? Or maybe a new program you're doing or something you're looking at doing for awards?
Do I have a question on to
Yeah,
add on to yours?
sure.
Just I don't know. Our awards are written into our documents, like what they are. Does no one else do that? Are you changing the award types every year or creating new awards? I'm just curious.
Anyone? Go ahead, Sally.
Okay, well, with our chapter, we had a few awards and they were very basic. It's like, Volunteer of the Year, CAM of the Year, but we always put it out to the membership for vote and we never received responses back. So it became more of like a personality contest. I don't know how to, you know, generate more enthusiasm for those types of awards, but I don't think our chapter had anything set in stone. It was just the board's idea of, who should we recognize this year and what awards do we want to give out? And then we would send it out to the membership to vote. Obviously, that doesn't work. So maybe we need to look at doing something differently to generate some feedback and some excitement for awards. I don't know.
We don't have it figured out. We have a point system, but that requires someone to track the points, which, who is that? And hopefully they attend every single meeting or someone's capturing it after the meeting on top of all the tasks and everything. So we do have some point-based awards, and then we do have some just board awards that are given out, like special recognition awards and president's awards and stuff like that. But I was hoping someone would have a better solution than we did.
Janet, and then Jim, I saw you came off mute, and then Mike.
Okay, I'm gonna sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, but I don't know that we've exactly decided on the names yet, but by the end of the year, we're gonna do 2 new awards. One sad, you don't want to have to do this one, but we have a person who passed away, who was on FLA and was for years, was a homeowner leader involved in CAI and gave it her all, just her all. So we're gonna do a little acknowledgement type award each year with a small monetary what's the word I'm looking for? Help me out here. What do you get when you graduate high school? All those
Scholarship, a
thank
scholarship.
you, like a little scholarship type thing. We're gonna do that. We haven't it'll reflect on her name, but we haven't decided on how we're going to choose that person yet, but we are going to do that. And the second thing that we're going to start doing is a annual Distinguished Service Award for our chapter, for another individual that we have that has just been a part of CAI and contributing in any way necessary, anything we need for years and years and years. Now I can imagine 15, 20 years down the road, we're trying to decide on who might get that award if they don't continue to step up, and that's a possibility. But right now, I mean, we can't get to December fast enough. Once we give this first one out, which we already know who it's going to. It's Janet, by the way, not me, but I'm going to walk around and pretend it's me. But anyway, you know, we're going to give to Janet this first year. And then after that, we already have, you know, a good 7 or 8 people lined up back to back behind her, to just say thank you for all the years of service, and no scholarship or anything attached with that, but just an acknowledgement, you know.
That's great. And that's something that you're adding both of those to continue on, right? You're adding both of those awards.
Both of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Jim?
So first of all, Candace, long time no see. Good to see you again. We just saw each other last week at a conference. Emily, you're going to laugh at this because you know our CED. And he's very meticulous about how he does things. Division awards we have are very, very, it's a very well-oiled machine, and he's got a whole system how to do it. But you know, we're doing typical events like vendor of the year or distinguished service provider of the year, or you know, we've done association manager of the year, management company. I don't know if we've done management company of the year, but we've done like association of the year, those types of things. In order to keep it from being a popularity contest, this is how he's got it down. He has this secret panel of judges. No one knows who they are except for him and his administrative person. He sends out, he redacts any identifying information from the submissions and sends them out to this panel of judges, and then they score them. And then he figures out, and I think if there's runner-ups, he'll send them out to another panel of judges. I said, I judged this one year. I had no idea who the other judges were, and I never will. And he's got this whole secret thing, but in order, he strips out all that identifying information. So to try and not make it a popularity contest. So that seems to work well for our chapter. Of course, we also do have like a President's Award, which we do or do not have to give out. We'll give out Lifetime Achievement Awards as we see fit. And then the board will also decide on Volunteer of the Year. So, and then there's some categories where we're constantly evaluating it. Okay, this category got this many nominees. Maybe we need to split that into 2 different categories, you know, and allow them to do that. Or this category only got 2 nominees. We're going to eliminate that category. So it's a constant evolving process we have. And somewhere in my office, I have last year's program, which has the list, but I can't find it in front of me right now.
If you find it, send it on over. We'll take it. A couple things that you said that really stand out to me is that you redacting any identifying information. I think that's huge, and it just not being a popularity contest. And then the other thing is you said you look at it and reevaluate it every year, and you don't just do the same things just because. So I think that's so important.
And I'm going to give credit where credit is due. That's our Vision Gala Committee. That's not the board. The Vision Gala Committee is so strong, and they are driving that force. So.
Right. So they're the ones that kind of handle the awards, is that committee.
Yeah, Tim does all the judging on his end, and he's got it all secret, super private, and goes from there. And
yeah. Awesome. Great. Mike, were you going to add something? You had come off mute.
Yeah, no, kind of mimicking what Jim just said, but I really was just curious of what everyone does for the selection process, because again, that is the most important, to make sure that you're getting it to the right person. And we talk about like energizing people, and again, talking about all these people who volunteer a lot of time and effort into this. Something as small as a little reward might seem, you know, silly or whatever, but it really does make a big difference. And I think it can really energize people. It's just a small thing to say thank you for all your service and what you've done. And I think that that really can light a fire under anyone to really feel empowered to continue to be better and better at what they do. But that's a hard one to come across, is what's the right structure. But I do think that whoever's voting in that process of who is, the right selection should also be involved and understand what everyone actually does. So if you're voting and you only know a certain segment of what that person does, that's going to be skewed and offset. So I think you definitely need to bring it into a selection committee or something to where you have people that can designate and select the proper person that is deserving of the award. And that's a hard one to do. And that was kind of my original question, is what is the process from everyone? And with what's been shared so far, those are all great ideas.
Does anyone have a different process that you'd like to share?
I see Jim found his program, so I didn't know if
did.
there was anything Jim wanted to share now that he has it in his hands.
I mean, I
Thanks, Krista.
quickly throw out some categories, because we basically take a lot of the people are nominated and give them a whole mini blurb in the program.
Oh,
We would like
wow.
business
Nice.
partner excellence in service, business partner extraordinary support staff, and that's not necessarily a member. Doesn't necessarily have to be a member, an affiliate member of CAI. Business partner community impact, business partner above and beyond, volunteer of the year, lifetime achievement, outstanding community, association of the year under 100 homes. Now, Minnesota, under 100 homes is a regular size association. It might be different in Texas. Association of the year over 100 homes. That's a big association in Minnesota. Excellence in service, and those are mostly management company employees. Above and beyond, those are also mostly management company employees. Rookie of the year, that's typically a manager. Intermediate professional, we added this category, and this can be, I've seen managers, mostly managers here in this particular category. I see an attorney here too. Advanced professional, these are managers who've been in the industry for 5 or more years. And then financial impact, typically a manager category. And then we introduced one last year called Management Company Extraordinary Support Staff, recognizing those folks that aren't really always going to CAI events and maybe aren't individual members, but are part of management company members of CAI.
Wow, that's
That
awesome.
that category also encourages management companies to bring more people to the gala, because our gala last year, 550 people.
Huge. How many members do you have, Jim? Like, that's
What are we at now? We're over 1,000, just over 1,000
so that's
now.
like half of your membership is at
Yeah.
your
Yes.
your
That's
gala.
amazing.
Yeah.
Jim, one thing that you touched on that made me again think of something else discussed this week was having nomination and having like your finalists, your top 5 or whatever, and promoting them. And I saw in your program that you had their pictures and like a little blurb about each of them. And I'm assuming then the winner is announced at the gala and they might not know in advance, right? So again, that's another strategy to get all of those people there. But it's also, I don't know if hopefully you follow each other on social media, but I've seen some chapters highlight those leading up to their awards dinner or gala, so that it's like, oh, look, Jim is one of the finalists. Let's congratulate Jim. And Candace is another finalist, and let's congratulate Candace. And so it gives it a lot of engagement for the community leading up to the event.
Well, then, because Tim is a big revenue guy, like we sell ads in the program. So here's an ad from this particular capital construction. Here, we congratulate our nominees. SJJ Law, we congratulate our nominees. So they're using that too. So it's cool because the ads, of course, pay for the program and all that kind of stuff. But I think right now the criteria is if you're nominated, you're a finalist. Because I'm seeing one here where we have 16 finalists on 2 pages. I think we're working toward, because every year we get more and more and more nominees, I think we're leaning toward limiting that and just doing finalists, but I don't think we're there yet.
I love that. The more people you can recognize, I feel like the better,
Exactly.
that kind of builds that excitement that goes along with what Mike was saying too.
Yes.
Anyone else have anything different that you do, or anything you'd like to share about your awards, or a question to ask? That's a great discussion.
Nothing else. I was just gonna say, Jim, I love Rookie of the Year. That's a fantastic one. Again, new people coming in, again, getting that energy going. I think that's a great one. Rookie of the Year. We'll have to take that into consideration.
And I think our criteria in it is 2 years or less as a manager.
Okay.
And the good news is a lot of people have won that award are still in the industry.
Wow. That's awesome. So speaking on awards, we are going to be releasing soon the self-nominations for the Chapter Excellence Awards. So as you know, start thinking about some of the things that you'd like to submit for for those. And the winners, of course, are recognized at our annual conference. And then the other thing is we will be asking for nominations for CED of the Year and Rising Star CED. And so if you have a chapter executive director that you would like to submit for that, we will be sharing with you how to do that. So just start thinking about that as well. All right.
Time frame, Emily, on those, is that going to be in the next couple months or?
Yeah, they won't be due until the CED Rising Star is usually due at the end of January.
Okay.
And the Chapter Excellence Awards are due the second week in February. So we have a little time, but we'd like to get it out to you early so you can start thinking about those. All right, really quick, another topic, if there's nothing else on that I'd like to switch to are elections, board elections. It is that time of year that you are starting to get to that time. Usually your bylaws say 75 days out, you're doing a call for nomination if you do an election or you're putting out a slate. So that timeline is here for most of you. So is there anything that you'd like to talk about regarding elections? Are there any questions you have? Have you all started that process? Great. If there's anything you need help with, if you look at the bylaws and think, what is this even saying? Get with your chapter executive director and reach out to us, and we'll be happy to help you with that process. Anything else you'd like to talk about before we go today?
Could a CAI store be created for like CAI apparel and stuff, like book bags? I mean, like you guys I have a shirt from, I don't know where I got it, maybe this past conference or conference before, but it must be this past conference because it was the 50,000 members on the back. And someone asked me more about CAI based on that shirt while I was out running. Not a good time to ask, but but it just made me think of, like, oh, hey, like this is some walking advertisement here. And I don't know if it would be a benefit or to get anything out of it, but it was just a thought.
That's a great thought. I don't know if it's something that's ever been considered, but I can certainly mention it. I do know that we also, our team usually gets shirts made because we're visiting to all of your chapters. And so it's really easy. Like we've done LL Bean, we've done Eddie Bauer, and just gotten, even some nicer shirts, and you can just get the logo put on it. So we've done that in the meantime, and that's been really helpful as well. But I love that they're asking you about what it is. That's awesome. Maybe not while you're running, but I love that. We can certainly bring that up, Candace. Thanks for that suggestion. Anyone else have anything? All right. Well, thank you so much. I realize it's late for some of you on a Friday afternoon, so thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you and hope that you'll tell your fellow presidents and president-elects, that you get something out of this and encourage them to come next time as well. Is there anything my team wanted to add before we go? All right.
Great conversation. Thank you all for your leadership and participation. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, everyone. See you next
Thank
time.
you.
I guess
Bye,
take care.
everybody.
Bye.